Hello and welcome to our YouTube special of the Marine Conservation Happy Hour. We have our guest Abigail here to talk to us about, oh my God, we're in trouble. Plankton is very important to us and we'll tell you why, but we're in trouble. Something's going on with plankton. Abigail, thank you so much for being on the show with us. Dr. Craken, my co-host, it's fabulous having you here. And do you have your drink? Because we got to be prepared that we're about to hear some scary stuff about plankton. Abigail, what's happening to plankton?
We are having huge changes in our plankton. They're changing in quantity. They're changing what's actually in the plankton. And the plankton that we have are moving everywhere from where they normally live to all other parts of the globe. Big changes.
What do you mean they're changing? Like they're actually changing their own cells?
Well, not their own cells, but plankton that are normally found in warm places are moving to other warm places. So if they're normally found like in tropical areas, they're moving north and moving south towards the poles, which means these ecosystems that have these certain types of cold plankton instead now have warm plankton, which is a huge change for an ecosystem.
But aren't plankton like the grasslands of the sea? They're important for every single marine ecosystem, every type of fish, basically.
They're a produce section in the grocery store, Dr. Craken.
They are the produce section. And if you go to the produce section and you only see like, if you're used to having like broccoli and carrots and Brussels sprouts and apples, and then you go and all of a sudden you've got like starfruit and papaya and mango and yucca and like all these other kinds of like tropical produce you're not used to. If you're a fish, you're like, what do I do with this? Like, right? Can I even eat this? Like, I'm built to eat Brussels sprouts.
Let me just tell you, I see a starfish and I don't even know what to do with a starfish, but I know
a starfish or a starfruit.
Starfruit.
So it's like millennials going in finding there's no avocado. What are they going to eat?
What are they going to eat?
Millennials are going to die. But okay, so what does this mean when they move over to a new area? What happens to that new area?
Well, it's called tropicalization. So it becomes more tropical. But as humans, we eat certain fish, right? Like cod, haddock, and they eat cold water plankton. So now we have these warm water plankton. And what are the fish going to eat? They're used to cold water plankton. And we don't really eat lots of tropical fish because they're quite small, And so as humans, we're like, what are we going to eat now? And then think about it from a whale's perspective or a shark's perspective. Their entire food web is changing too. So if they can't cope with that, what do? There's only so much room to move north and south towards the poles as your food changes.
So like my British relatives, there's that foreign food that actually has a flavor. I can't possibly eat that.
It's got salt in it.
Oh my goodness, I know, right, exactly. So what does this mean? Because are we going to lose prey for sharks and all of our big fish?
Yeah, our food webs are changing in cold areas. And that's exactly what we think is going to happen, is that as those food webs change, the prey for these large animals is likely to also change. And that means the higher parts of the food web can be reconfigured too. If you're a big whale, like a humpback whale that eats these cold water krill, and they're not there anymore, what are you going to eat? We don't know.
But also plankton produces most of our oxygen as well. So what happens if the plankton tanks?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And I don't think we know for sure, but we do know that we're seeing changes in all parts of the plankton. And that includes the phytoplankton that do produce half of the Earth's oxygen. And that's quite dangerous territory for us to be in, isn't it? If we see these changes in the food web, these changes in the organisms that produce the oxygen we breathe, and that mitigate climate change by pulling out the carbon from the air. And how are they changing with climate change? And how much will that affect how the ocean processes and functions affect us as humans?
Oh my gosh, that sounds so interesting. And we're definitely going to have to dive into this a little bit more. Thank you so much, Abigail, for being here with us. Dr. Craken, thank you so much. And for everyone that's tuning in, thank you for watching our YouTube special. Please subscribe, like us, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, all the social media, TikTok, Discord, all of it. And thank you so much for being here on the show.